Okay, then we will move to item F, which is proposal to develop a portion of the Steinhoff property into additional green space for soccer and other outdoor practice facilities.
We've been studying this, probably getting to be close to a year. Now scroll down to the picture so that everybody can get an idea maybe what we're talking about here. And then Dave, come on up if you would, please. Dave's been working on this project along myself and the rest of us involved in it. And the whole rationale before this proposal centers around the VA. Our varsity practice facility or soccer fields have been at the VA since I've been here. I don't know how long they've been here, but they've been here a long time. And the VA is changing and growing at this point in time, so we were told last spring that we would not be able to use the fields back there. There's currently 2 fields that they were utilizing. We ended up being able to utilize them, and then this fall we were told we weren't going to be able to utilize them. We can utilize 1 field. There is not room for 2 fields out, but they're going to do some expansion, and so we have to start looking at some different options out there. We do know that the city is looking at doing some development down at Fireman's Park to put in some green space down there. But having reviewed the proposals with the board facilities, we're coming back with a recommendation to develop some of the Steinhoff property that was originally purchased, I believe, Mary Ellen, maybe you can help with this one with some of that knowledge. It's not quite 40 acres, but there's about 40 acres. What is this, ET? Is that what they call it?
Yes.
ET out there, County ET, and this is Gross Peak heading back down south past the lake there. It was originally purchased to put in a high school if that need should ever come about, and we're not really seeing that in the near future. We still have quite a bit of space at the high school to add students there. You know, and the thought is that someday it's probably more likely going to be a place you would build an elementary, because if you look at our class sizes now, that's where you're seeing probably, and I won't use the term crowding, but you're seeing higher numbers at the elementary level at this point in time. So it looks probably as though if I had a crystal ball, this might be a place for an elementary. But we're not talking about that. That's why we're talking about green space and utilizing a portion of that. And you can see this is if you drive by there now, and I think Brian's been by there a few times, you might even look out his back window at it. Right now you see a cornfield right here. Primarily that area where the cornfield is at, we would develop into green space. And we call it green space because it's not just for soccer. It can be used for whatever we need to use that green space for in the future. It could be youth football out there. You know, I think the potential is unlimited for what the uses are there. And it would still give us an opportunity with the other half, or even if we needed to get into a portion of this, to build an elementary school without undoing everything that we've done out there. So that in concept is what we're talking about tonight. I did have a chance to talk to Brian. I knew he lived somewhere in this vicinity, but not exactly where, and just wanted to pick his brain a little bit about some concerns that maybe he either has been hearing or not hearing, and probably, and if it's safe, is that the biggest concern is parking. And what are we going to do if youth soccer has their weekend tournament here? Well, Dave talked to Jay Gerke today, and I don't know if you want to talk about that parking lot a little bit.
Just depending on how we configure the parking, he conservatively estimates we can get about 200 spots. So we feel that's more than adequate. Might be able to squeeze more, up to 220, 240 even. So, and nobody's really thrilled about the shoulder of the road there for parking. It's pretty steep, and I know there's some concerns for safety of children and stuff, but the lot that he's got there proposed should handle more than enough for the people that would be using.
That doesn't mean that on that weekend where they host that soccer tournament, or something comes up, if they were utilizing that, and this is probably the concern of the neighbors here, obviously, is the parking here. Are they going to be cutting through my lawn to get over there? My hope would be, no, I don't think they will be, but I would be hesitant to say that isn't going to happen, because I maybe know better that there might be somebody scooting across there. But we also heard that there was a proposal to put a sidewalk here, and there is no proposal to put a sidewalk along at this point in time. Not that it's not a good or bad idea, but there's an existing, again, as we're talking to Brian today, there's an existing easement for the power lines, I believe, that run through there. So there is no, at this time, again, sidewalk. One of the things that Dave did check into is where the electricity and where the water comes in. You want to just point that out? Because what we do know is that at some point in time, we probably can expect to have somebody come up with a request, could you potentially put in a concession stand and bathrooms? And it seems like a logical request to do that. And I sit up here today and say, you know what? That might be a good thing to do someday down the road. We're not proposing that this year, but it might be a good idea. We can also see somebody saying down the road, you know, maybe it'd be nice to have some playground equipment out there. I don't know. But again, it's the concept of getting more green space out here and, you know, preserving that green space, why we have the opportunity to do that here. And along with meeting our needs, again, for our existing soccer facilities. Right now, our high school program does not have a facility which it can call home. So that in sense is what we're talking about. But Dave, you want to point out?
There's water to the corner of the property right here, so it would be minimal charge to us, if any, other than just putting a meter in. And then the sewer comes down here at the end of, I think that's Perman Street. So, and the city's told us they would run it this direction, but when we got to go under the road, then we would be charged for that. And again, it's not a huge number. It's a couple of $1,000, he thought, depending on when, if and when we would ever decide to do that. And electricity's already on the property with power lines running through. So,
I don't know, board facility committee members, if you have any comments you'd like to add. We've talked about this at quite a few different meetings.
At a recent meeting, we did have different people from the city and from the soccer association and concerned people coming and giving some input. And I think that was coaches, yeah, that was very helpful. And so we have been looking at this for a while, and there's just lack of green space in our city for the kids to be able to play soccer and football, and where you need the extra grass.
The cost of the proposed project is about $135,000. We would look at paying for that out of this year's budget. Of course, we know that we have to spend this year's money in this year, otherwise we lose the state aid on it. We don't want to lose the state aid on it. I've talked about, or we'll be talking about, some budget adjustments that'll go through a little bit where you're seeing not only with this proposal but also the proposal at the high school that will show how we're able to pay for some of those projects.
The intent, Greg, going back in time, this was during Gene Baumgarten's tenure. That land was purchased for the purpose of having extra land for the city, for the school district. And what you did say was possibility of an elementary school, but going back in time it was considered to be a possibility for the high school. But as time went on, it came down to a better site for an elementary. What you're talking about now is the need for room for our kids to practice on or whatever. This is an excellent time to do that in preparation for what may happen in the future here in Tomah. But if we're needing more space, this would be ideal. So, and I was part of the board facilities talk about it to bring it to the full board with the understanding that, yeah, we do need the room. And like you said, with all the things that the VA intended to do as far as building, we lose that space. So we're running out of room. think it's an excellent plan to move out there.
Yeah, I'll just add, I was on the facilities committee as well, and just from different angles, everyone seemed to support it. It was not just to help the soccer team, although there was a concern that they were the one sport that didn't have, as Greg indicated, a home. But just the flexibility with so many different sports programs needing space, that we're juggling different areas all the time, and to be able to have that extra space would be very valuable. And then I think everyone agreed, once we have that, the potential is just unlimited. No one doubts that once we get that we're going to find other ways to use it in productive ways. So I think everyone felt that the time was right, and that we would really get a lot of use for it.
Part of our goal would be to, or actually our goal for getting this project approved is to talk about it tonight. If you have any questions, hopefully get an article in the paper between now and then bring it back to the Monday Board Facilities Committee. It might be a little bit past that, but just get the word out there that we're looking at to sign off property out there to move forward with that and put the soccer facility or the green space out there.
Currently, you said it's a cornfield. So, do we rent that land to?
Yeah, right now, currently we're renting it. Actually, the proceeds of those money is going, of those revenues are going to the FFA.
Okay.
And they're not a lot of dollars, but there are something.
Would you? Well, I mean, you said the options are, and I mean, there's a lot of options out there. You know, and with football practice fields, do we anticipate, I mean, would you use this for an actual scheduled gym class possibly? Or
you know, you got transportation issues, and right now I'm not sure that youth football, and when we're talking football, we're primarily talking about 7th and 8th grade level that would be moving out there. You know, again, we just basically renovated our old high school practice facility, and that was about, I believe, around, don't quote me, I can bring those numbers back, I'd be guessing, and I don't want to do that, but we did renovate that to get that in a safer, usable condition, and so that they had a pretty nice practice facility, and that's really kind of what we're talking about, doing the same thing here. Any more than when we took and built tennis courts out at LaGrange, which was done within the last 3 or 4 years.
You know, it's excellent to know that it's our property. I can go back a few years and you talk about where LaGrange is now. That was a super purchase on our part. And look how that facility out there at LaGrange has expanded. So if you're looking down the road in the future, it's a gold mine really having this to be our property, because you can envision things going on in the future, especially with the housing projects out there, what availability there would be for families to utilize that, and our sports program. So it's a great plan.
And I think one of the coaches brought up a good point, that it does give us opportunity maybe to host bigger and better tournaments, and that has the result of attracting better competition. Schools that wouldn't normally come here maybe for a single event would come here for a bigger tournament, and that can only help to sort of enhance our programs by being able to attract other competitive programs.
Yeah, I just got to mention one other thing. You know, the person that really envisioned this was Gene Baumgarten, our former school board president. Excellent idea on his part to work that out with 2 different people that own the property. So it was a great envisionment by him. So, and he was an excellent board member, president like you are, Deb.
So I don't know if you have any questions anymore for Dave or myself, but feel free to call either one of us if you do have any questions on this. And again, we would be looking, if possible, take action at the reorganization meeting so that we can get this on schedule and completed in full by June 30th. And we've already talked to Gerke Construction. They've told us they can get the project done, so comfortable with that.
Greg, what buffer, if any, exists between that space and the houses?
Well, I guess it depends how you decide what a buffer is, but again, talking with Brian today, I think we believe between the lot lines of the houses and the easement, it's about 50 feet, isn't that? Each side of the power line. So what you're seeing here, probably this black line, and I'm assuming these are the property lines that we're looking there, or thereabouts. And then you kind of outline that with a bigger buffer, just simply because you have kind of a downhill dip to it here, and our goal is not to change anything with the way the water is moving. We don't want to push it this way. We want to keep the water going the direction that it is.
I would imagine there's options to put in like a tree line or something that might buffer something. Well,
Sure.
Probably not with the power lines there.
You could do
But
something.
yeah, but something that would give you a little...
More of a visible area.
Right.
Prickly bushes.
Prickly bushes.
Prickly bushes.
Lilac hedge.
Well, and again, Greg, you said the proposal from Gerke's is for $135,000, and that does include the on-site material, the grading for the 4 individual fields that they're showing, drainage swales, parking lot,
Yep.
all of it finished.
Other questions?
Okay, then we will look forward to that next Monday.